about what he was going through, and he said, dang, I kind of wonder, like, who even cares about, who really cares. And of course I'm paraphrasing, but that thing choked me up. And it choked me up because I have I literally have, hold on, y'all, hold on. I have a brother, I have a father, I have my child's father, I have a son, granddaddy, or uncle. I have men in my life that I do feel like I don't ever stop to say, how are you feeling? How are you doing today? How did this affect you? Sometimes you can be a little selfish. It can be just about you. And as you guys listen to the journal entry, I shared a little bit of my journal entry to you guys that I had written to Black men. And um I said, so busy protecting, providing, and worrying about us, and for that we love you. I don't think I have, and I don't know about the other women, but I don't think that I have taken enough time to stop and get to know the men that I have in my life. And these are my great brothers. These are my brothers that I see 3 times a week. I see y'all 3 times a week. And I feel like, why not? Why not now to open up the discussion for women to get to know men, and men to, I don't even really want to say we want to get to know women, because we'll have a time for that. But I want to know y'all perspective on certain things. Of course, I'm going to ask questions. Of course, the audience and the listeners, they're going to ask questions too. If you guys can tune into the chat on ZMR Radio, you'll also see the questions that they have. Listen, they are live, y'all. Jay Rich, Christopher, they are live. Okay. So if y'all are ready, we're going to get into it. But this first question is based off of this. My dad put me up on game. My dad had to basically not mend his daughter's broken heart, but I had to come to him as, brokenhearted from a guy, of course. And I'm like, Dad, why do men or guys do the things that they do? My dad had to put me up on game. And sitting around and talking to him on how men think and what they think about, it's like they don't even think as far as we do. It's just, hey, it's real simple and plain. Well, some guys, I'm speaking from my experience, y'all, so please don't jump on me. But yes, I'm speaking from my experience that men, they think as far as they want to think, and sometimes it's simpler than what we think. So the first question that I have for y'all, outside of what's on the regular questions, is what does it mean when a man goes silent? Any situation, if you can think of one situation or one event that has happened in your life, what happens when you go silent?
He's checked out.
Oh, he's checked out.
He's
Okay.
checked out. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So if it's gotten to the point to where he's checked out, it's it's the reverse of the old R. Kelly song when a woman's fed up.
Oh,
It's
snap.
just, mm,
Okay. It ain't nothing you can do about it.
ain't nothing you can do about it.
It's like running out of love.
It's like running out of love. Too
Okay.
late to talk about it.
Too late to talk about it. Okay. Mm. She was born in Illinois, right outside of
Right
Chicago.
outside of Chicago.
Okay, okay. Well, what about you, Jay Rich? What you think?
If he goes silent at that point, he not trying to go to prison, so he about to go silent, so he don't do nothing that he regret later.
Okay, so I take it that you guys are talking about relationship wise, right? Are we talking
Yep.
about relationship? Or are we, because someone in the chat is saying, hey, what would make him check out? As opposed to just, does it always have to be love? Let's say everything is going good in your relationship. Because I know for me, being in a relationship before, if a guy would get silent with me, I mean, I'm thinking all crazy stuff like, oh my goodness, he rather leave me. He don't want me. He don't this and that. You start thinking crazy thoughts. And then the minute you talk to him, he's just like, listen, I had gas. That's one. Or, hey, I had so much on my mind. I got this, that going on. And I'm sorry. What really, outside of just it being a relationship thing, what makes a man check out? Like what will make him just get so, oh, what is happening to what, y'all all right over
It's just that's a little COVID. He all right though. It's just a little bit.
A little Rona.
Just a little wrong.
Little
Ain't
Rona
nobody,
can.
little wrong never hurt nobody.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh,
Hmm.
excuse me. Excuse me.
All right, y'all. They back now. He back now. He all right. But what will make elaborate a little bit more, Christopher, if you can, as far as when a man goes silent, what all could be going through your head? Not just you checked out, but what's going through your head? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Um, well, personally, I'm not familiar with the case where I've gone silent and I wasn't checked out.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's not. I'm not speaking for every man, so I'm just
Right,
saying.
right, right.
Yeah, just saying in my case,
Hmm.
because
Mm,
if it got to the point where I've gone silent and it's just something got me there, you know.
okay. Okay. I can take that. I can take that. I can take that. So that's one of the questions, one of the many questions that I wanted to ask just off the bat, because I've always wanted to know that. Now I do understand that that changes with each person, so everybody's not going to have the same thing of when they go silent. But I definitely wanted to ask you guys that. Now we're gonna get into the questions. The questions are not going to always be deep. Some of them may be where, listen, easy brainer. I'm just gonna answer this. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna laugh. And some of the questions are really gonna make you think, like, what in the freak? What's going on? So let me ask this one deep question to the both of you. What were your feelings on watching the beating of Tyree Nichols? What did you feel like as a man? What did you feel like when you saw that? We're gonna start a little serious. We're gonna mix it up, but I just want to know, what did you think as a black man when you saw that?
Who you starting over with, Chris? Well, I guess as I'm talking, I can go ahead and start.
Okay.
Um, so I mean, what I felt is kind of, it's all along with the same lines as we get taught about 3 times a week. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like how you want to, let me just say this: we are men in America, but like how you try to, like, kind of like put your authority down. It's like at a certain point, preacher even always say, like, you put your authority down in your house with your kids, but you can go out there any day,
Mm-hmm.
and when you see the boys in blue, they could take your life just like that. You're gonna have to submit to them, or they get called to
Yeah.
your house. So it's kind of like, it really just still make you just really want to get up out of here, because it's just like, can you really be a full man in their eyes? Can you be a full man and put that authority with everything, not just your house and your kids, but just be out in the world and just regulate and be as a man? It's like, it kind of just is frustrating, really, because not with just his case, just with all the cases that you see all the time, with us getting pulled over, getting beat, killed, and then it just gets slide right under the rug. They'll get off. It'll be a slap on the wrist, something not major.
Mm-hmm.
So it's frustrating to see, to say the least. Angry, whole bunch of feelings you feel at once.
Oh, okay. I can respect that. What about you, Christopher?
Uh, my initial thought was sadness. I felt sad
Mm-hmm.
for his family, but let's just be real. We
Uh-oh.
we've seen so many beatings and killings of black people, black men
Correct.
specifically, that we've kind of become desensitized to it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because when I look at it, I mean, just be honest, we are, because it's like, ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it for real.
Mm.
Okay, another brother beat down, but who's gonna do something? Ain't nobody
Nothing's
gonna
gonna
do something.
change.
And because it's 5 black people, now people will say, this just goes to show that. uh
Black on black crime, and y'all
well, not
blacks.
not even that, but how people blacks always complain that white police officers are always killing and beating blacks. So this is your own kind beating. So it just kind of hurts the narrative of black people saying they're being targeted, but people forget that those 5 black
Mm.
officers have people above them, you know,
Yeah.
which the system is above them, a system called racism, white supremacy.
Hmm.
But it was just real sad. It'll be another one tomorrow, and another one the day after that, and another one the day after that, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. I mean,
But I see, that's the thing for me. When I watched it, now my brother has been he was a police officer. He's going on 10 years in May. And he's gone from a police officer. to a detective, and now he's a marshal. So he's been moving in that area, and I know he's seen his number of things. I know he's seen his number of things, especially with his first couple of months. Listen, straight up, with my brother being a cop when he was, they had an incident on over here off Glenwood at a motel, and best believe all three of his sisters was ready to show up, and including his mama. We were watching it on the news. So at that point, where my brother is there to protect and serve other people, we're like, we're here to protect and serve him too. We like, why? We don't, it was scary for us. So just to not know if anything will go down, or where he'll end up and his life is gone, or they put their life on the line every day to be able to serve. So it hit different when it's like, goodness, like I know some good people, or I know people, or I know cops that are not crooked, that are not that are able to control their emotions, or control, because I
Mm-mm.
don't exactly know what was going through their brains, but it couldn't have been functioning properly with all that going on. Like just watching it, just it definitely made me sad for our black men, but not even us. They're killing the black women too. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I had to ask that question because, of course, it was deep. Of course, it's gonna make you, self-reflect and just like, where does this put me at? But now, moving on to this next question, that is gonna kind of pivot off of that. Um, what's something bad we have accepted as humans because that's just how things are, but actually things don't have to be that way at all? And I'll repeat it because I know it's pretty long. What's something bad we have accepted as humans because that's just how things are, but actually things don't have to be that way at all?
Hmm.
What do y'all think? I want to hear from y'all too in the chat if you guys can. You guys are welcome to join on. Just make sure you mute your phone until you want to come on and knock in. So, what you think? I heard a
That's a good.
juicy
What you
flowing.
what you think, Jay Rich?
Look, I got
Jay
one,
Rich.
and it's a kind of stereo. I don't know what could look. Just to the listening audience, I have no idea what she gonna ask, so I'm on the spot. So, but
You're so lying. Yes, you are.
but look, I got one thing that might steer off into your topics later on. It might not. I don't know. But here's one thing that
Uh-oh.
I see that since I'm kind of out there, out and about, delivering and all that. A lot of people. One thing I see that's accepted that shit that which what was how you stated it that they're accepting it, but they could be doing better, or it could be different, but it's been happening for so long.
Let me read it again because I was
Yeah,
a little
go
confused
ahead.
too. What's something bad we have accepted as humans because that's just how things are, but actually things don't have to be that way at all?
I want to say this: the treatment, how the men treat women, and then vice versa. Meaning that,
Mm,
like, sometimes I've seen, or maybe I just might hear ladies talking. Maybe I might be delivering to something. I get to hear them talking for a little bit, and they'll
mm-hmm,
always talk about how the guy do this, he run out on them, beat him, cheat on him, and all that. And
mm-hmm,
they keep either they keep going back to that person, or
mm-hmm,
they, when they get somebody new, it's going to be the same person with the same attributes and everything else. And for the women, to them, it seems like all the men that they ran in contact to do it, and they just accept it. They just like, well, every man gonna cheat. He gonna run out on me. He ain't gonna do this. He ain't gonna take care of his kids. And that's just a new norm. And it's sad because you be like, man, like you
It's
look at
just
the
one way to
woman
look at it.
themselves. Yeah, like the woman can actually do better. You look at her, you be like, she pretty, she do this, she got that, she could do better, but it's sad she just accepted. So that's one thing
Mhm.
that I see a lot nowadays. It's other
Do you
things
think
too, but
that's a
that's the
lack
first
of
thing that crossed my mind.
self-reflection?
Definitely, yeah. I definitely think
Okay.
it's like whatever when you get somebody another partner, it's a reflection of like the attributes that you say you like or whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a reflection of yourself. As much as people don't want to admit it, it's really something deep down inside of you that's wrong with you that you accepted that bad behavior.
Mm, okay, I like that one. That was good. So self-reflection. So what you're saying is, if this is a if this is a pattern for you, and this is the same thing, it all ends the same way.
Hmm.
We're no longer looking at the man. We're looking at who's a well, not I wouldn't just say man. We're looking at, because if it was vice versa, if it swapped, we're now looking, we now have to look at ourselves. Why do you keep accepting this? What is
Right.
it in you that is attracted to this type of thing? Because you have signs. There are always signs on so many things that have you like, I should have seen it. I should have seen it. You
Right.
didn't want to see it. You weren't ready to see it. Or if you did see it, you acted as if you did not see it and you thought you could change it. So I'm definitely with you on that. That self-reflection is a big thing. And of course, with Flourish Girl Flourish on this journey, there's a lot of things that I have been self-reflecting on. So I appreciate you for bringing that up because self-reflection is a big thing. Because how dare you say, he did this, he did that, she did this, she did that, but you can't turn that finger and point it back
Exactly.
on you and say, you know what? But what could have changed was me. I could have went silent when a woman's fed up. I could have made that song right. What's up? What's up? Okay, Christopher, what about you? What you think?
Okay, something that is wrong, but it's accepted in society because people feel like that's just the way it is.
Yep, and it can
If
change. It can
right,
change. Mhm,
if you know what I think that accept this, turn a blind eye to, but everybody knows it's wrong. Is if
mhm,
when you have a male and a female and they get into an argument, and if the
mhm.
female hits the male, and she like that's wrong. Everybody knows it's wrong, but everybody kind of turns a blind eye to it. But once that male puts hands on that female, it's like at that point, it's like, oh, you shouldn't have did that. Why did you hit her? And it doesn't matter if she hit him first or if he hit her first. It doesn't
Oh
matter.
my
It's
goodness.
only society. In society, it's frowned upon if a male puts his hands on a female, but if she puts her hands on a male, everybody kind of just turns a blind eye and tells them the man up. I think that those type of inequalities are not right, but they're accepted in society.
Nah, double standard. Let me tell you a little story. So
Hmm.
my father, like I said, this man has kept me up on game. He said to me, now, did I choose to listen to that game? Not all the time. Let me just go throw that disclaimer out there. But let me say this. My dad has always told me, if you raise your hand to a man, you better be ready to fight like one. And he always said that, of course, I'm here to protect you, but you have to make your decision. You got to make your choices first. Like, you got to be able to determine, like, keep your hands to yourself. And there are times where I didn't listen. I have definitely squared up. What's up? What's up? Just distasteful. Just distasteful. I will be the first to say that. Not you, lack of self control. So I agree with you on that end that that has been a thing. Now, why? Is it because men are stronger? Is it because men should just know better? Women should know better too. And I'm
Exactly.
saying that to the old me
Exactly.
that you should have known better too. My dad has
Uh-huh.
told me that when you put your hands on a man, you better be ready to fight like one. Not
That's
every
right.
man is raised the same. My
Yeah.
brother, he know better. We'll all show up. Don't put your hands on no woman. People know that. Like that if you're not raised a certain way, some of them like I see black and blue, and black and blue is that eye that knows. That's all I see. So you can't always judge it that way, and you have to control. You gotta have self control.
Yeah.
Again, another
Yeah.
thing I'm learning. So I agree with you.
But you know
I
what else
definitely.
though? But you know what else though?
What else?
Wendy. So I mean, in all
Mm-hmm.
fairness, there are double standards on both sides now. So
Always.
in another unfairness that I think society accepts and just say, that's a man's gonna be a man is when if a man sleeps with a bunch of women, he's considered
Oh
a
snap!
player. He the man. Everybody looks
He
up to him. But if a
what's
female
up?
sleep with a bunch of dudes, she's considered a hoe. Don't nobody want to touch her. She ran down. Now I understand the thinking behind that, and the thinking behind that is so it's easier for a woman to have sex than it is for a male to have sex. Like it's a big deal
Whoa, whoa,
for a
whoa,
man
whoa,
to
whoa,
actually
whoa.
have
That's true.
sex
Let me
with
say
a
That's
this.
true.
female. Like no, no,
Jay
hold on. Let
Rich.
me finish. Let me finish my thought. Write down your thoughts. Let me get it all out. So
Oh,
when a man, like for a man to actually approach a woman and convince her to give him her body. Like that's like an accomplishment. It's like you climb Mount Everest. You made it to the top. And then for a man who's made it to the top of Mount Everest multiple times, like he's considered this great person. But for a female, it's nothing for her to have sex. Like she literally can just walk outside to check her mailbox, and if a dude walking by and he thinks she fine, he gonna holler. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing.
Oh,
You
but
know,
wait,
so it's nothing.
hold on.
So if she sleeps with a lot of guys, it's like you ain't accomplished nothing. You are you're just a whore. I mean, because it's easy for you. So that's the thinking behind it. Nevertheless, my point is, it's still wrong because they both are sleeping with multiple people and they're both committing the same act. I think it's wrong both ways.
You know what though? Now my face while you talking the whole time talking about sour grape. Like wait, what? One thing about women, I'm gonna say this. Don't tell us about us. Hold up. Don't tell us about us. You know you. But that's why I wanted to have this conversation, y'all, because things like this come up all the time, and you're like, you
Is it
actually
just me? It sounds like something's going on with your phone.
Uh-oh, can you hear me? What
Okay,
it
yeah,
sound
that's
like?
better. Okay,
Oh,
that's
okay.
better.
No, I was saying that it comes situations come up all the time where we're like, as women, don't try to tell us what we do. Please don't try to come over here and try to tell us nothing we got going on. Cause who know us better than us? Cause y'all stay over there, we'll stay over here. How about that? Until we're ready to mate, until we're ready to holler, until we're ready to lay, until we're ready to do things that involve y'all. We're like, huh. So I get what you're saying, but I don't like it. And you're right. That's truly how things go. As you use the example with putting your hands on a woman as opposed to a woman putting their hands on a man. And then with this, sleeping around with the numbers, with the counts. So I just have always women can't do what men do. That was my biggest thing. Like you can do it. Why I can't do it? And I'm not just talking sexually. I'm talking about just anything. Like you want to hang out late at night. You want to do. I can do it too. Why not? Right? I can
Right.
do it too. What? I can.
Right.
You have that
Yeah.
whole little game you want to play. But again, it's back to that self reflection. What do you want to be looked at as? Like a man can look like a garden tool too now. It ain't just, some people don't always think that too. Like a man, he a man, more masculine. He can do that. He can lay them all down, lay them flat, lay them on their back. But with women, I mean, y'all come off as garden tools too now. So
But now she's throwing. Oh, she's throwing nothing.
whatever. Whatever. But yeah, okay. Okay. Now, I might answer some of these questions, but some of these are just for y'all because we've heard women's perspectives on a lot of different things. But again, this show is dedicated just for the men because we want to get to know y'all just a little bit better. Now we're gonna have a little fun. We are gonna get a little serious, a little bit more serious, if that's even the correct way to put that inside of a sentence. But we're gonna get a little serious, and then we're gonna have some fun. So. What's the best gift that you guys have received and why? Why was it the best gift for you? You ain't gotta say who it was from, but just what's the best gift that you've received?
That's a tough one.
Listen, the long pause is like,
Hmm.
let's go. Because
I,
women,
I,
and I'm gonna tell y'all why this question meant something to me. It meant something to me because as a woman, I like things. I like, I'm not materialistic, but hey, I like to know you're thinking about me, right? I like to know that. So, what has been a gift that you received that you're like, I'm gonna forever cherish this? Like, I'm not gonna get rid of this, or that touched me so much that I will never forget this or that person. What was it?
That's a
can
good
it
one.
can it be a writing? Does it have to be like a
You,
material?
a gift comes any type of way. A gift can be advice. A gift can be someone's presence. Like it can be anything. Whatever y'all want it to be. It can be something that has been bought. Up to you. What's something that a token to you that you're like, someone gave this to me and I appreciate it forever and ever.
I don't know. I'm a man. That's a hard one right there.
Yeah,
But
that's a hard one.
But let me say this from what I remember off the top of my head from all this RC. I really like stuff like this though, right? Like material things is cool. Money is definitely always good. I can use that. But like say if you write something and it's really like from like the as they say the bottom of your heart, you were like, oh, like, enjoy your birthday, something like that, and then you like put your thoughts on there. Like, as corny as it may sound, I really like enjoy something like that more than money or something like that. If you really like put your true thoughts on there, it's like, man, I appreciate you, whatever, this, that, and the third, and it was like from your heart. That's I like that more
Yes.
than anything,
But
huh?
why? But why? What is it about? And I get it. You said it was from the bottom of their heart. So what is it? So what if somebody buys you a gift? That's from the bottom of their heart too, right? Like I go to the store and I know you like oranges and grape Fanta and salt and vinegar chips. What if I buy you that and I'm like, hey, I thought of you. I
Because
thought of you.
that's gonna be going here today, going tomorrow. I ain't gonna see it. Yeah, I can have the words and be like, oh yeah, I can go back look at that card a couple years later, be like, oh man, I remember when they wrote that. Like that was
Yeah.
cool right here.
Okay. Okay. So guys
Something you can
like
hold
to
on.
they like the words too. They like to y'all like to know you're thought of or you're cared for as well too. But it's something different when it's written down and it's something you can always go back to on your own time.
Right, because from my perspective at least, guys don't they're not really told that they appreciate it on a not that we got to be told that, but it's cool to be told that or shown that and be like, man, like I really appreciate what you do or whatever. So
I got
it's always cool to see that.
you. Okay. What
You
about
know
you,
what?
child?
I don't know. First of all, I don't like gifts. I don't like anybody buying me anything.
Oh
I
my
don't like
goodness.
because they're going. Cause I don't like the fact that people buy you what they want you to have versus what you want.
No,
Just
I agree
forcing
with
on you,
that.
Chris.
I agree
Like
with that.
and so and with that, I don't like people buying. Like I get irritated if somebody try to buy me a gift because you buying me what you want me to have versus ask me what I want. So I don't like that. But anyway,
Mhm.
but
Oh,
you know what
okay.
I do like
What
though.
you like?
Uh,
Uh-oh.
I like for somebody. It ain't gotta be nothing bought, but somebody to let you know, let me know that they got my back and they appreciate me. Like I remember one time when I was an undergrad, when I was in college, it was
Mm-hmm.
back in the 90s. I was decided to transfer from Auburn University to Texas Southern. And so I was transferring, right, and it was in the springtime, and everybody knew I was going to transfer. And one of my
Mm-hmm.
partners was like, "Hey, Chris, man, hey, come with me. I got to run home because he stayed in Montgomery, which is about 45 minutes from Auburn. So he's like, I got to run home. I got to do something at my parents' house. I said, just ride with me. So we rode. I was then when we got to Montgomery, we started riding around doing some more weird stuff. I'm like, hey man, let's get back to school. Like what are you doing? Like why you start? Like what's going on? What's wrong with you? On drugs or something? But
Oh
anyway,
goodness.
we ended up getting back to Auburn, right? Got back to the hotel, to our apartment, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody was there, and then they had like a big old surprise party for me. And they just so he was stalling me out. Yeah, he was
Wow.
stalling me out because they was like, hey, keep Chris busy while we get the party together. And they had like this big old surprise party for me, man. It just made me feel like, wow, y'all did that for me. Like I ain't even, it's like, man, I ain't nobody. And we had a great time. But anyways, that's just one example and then also like like it make you really feel good when people care about you. Like I remember when my wife needed to get transferred from Mobile up here to
I
Atlanta to the
remember.
rehab
I
center. And,
remember.
I mean, I
Mhm.
had the money, but preacher put it out there, we're gonna help Chris, get her transported. And people just gave money, man. I was like, wow, that really touched me too. It's like, wow, people really care about you, step up for you. So
Listen, knowing your personality, and then when I saw that message, like you people really care about me, Christopher. I have always like I think about that often. Like, dang, like why isn't it so easy for you to say like I can accept that people care about me as opposed to when you wrote that question, what were you thinking in your mind? Did you feel less than? Did you feel like I mean, just little old me, like you said with the party? I'm
I
nobody.
don't
Like
know.
I'm
Yeah.
why is it that you get a lot of men that feel like that. Like women, oh, I better be on the first on
Yeah.
that list. I
Kind of like
better
what
be
I guess,
priority.
kind of like
Why?
what you said last week with the other week with Cam. Like nobody really cares about what a man goes through, what a man has going. Like nobody cares, and me and as men, we know that. Like we know
Mm.
nobody cares for real, you know. So it's like,
What?
yeah,
Do you mean nobody, or do you really mean nobody?
I mean
Like,
nobody.
what?
Like literally
Is
nobody.
that one person's
That's
name?
true.
Like
Yeah,
somebody named they
yeah,
child
nobody
nobody, or
cares.
you really
Nobody.
talking
I mean,
about
no, I mean
people?
nobody really cares. That's
Oh
why I
my
said. That's why I
goodness.
said it makes you feel good when something like an act happens organically that lets you
Okay,
know, hey man, you know this wasn't no. This is organic. This came from the grassroots.
I got
I
you.
know this is real. Because we know
Oh,
Gene. Because we just nobody cares about it, man. It's like it's easier for like if a man gets on hard times, it's more public assistance available for a woman that falls on hard times than it is for a man. He has to jump through so many hoops, and it's just like that's why you see more women on those public assistance things because it's just harder for men to get on them. I mean, but we go through hard times too. But it's just
mm,
and it's just like if you see a 40-year-old man working at fast food restaurant at McDonald's, he's kind of looked down upon a little bit. Yeah, he has a job and it's
uh-huh.
it's legal, he's making money, but he's kind of looked like that's the best you could do. Well, if you have a woman who's 40 and she works in McDonald's. She's looking at a hard working woman getting herself together. She'll do anything to take care of her family. So it's
I
like
got
that man, he doesn't get that same he doesn't get that same praise. It's like it's just not fair. Nobody cares about men. I mean, a lot of times we have like these unrealistic expectations on us, and it's just like that's why a lot of men, black men, especially, just give up because he got like these unrealistic expectations.
I got
Yeah,
you.
that's true though. That's kind of good when you said about that checking out thing. That might be a big reason why a lot of men check out though. They just can't live up to their expectations. You say they go silent and check out on you.
So when does it become a pride thing then? As far as like asking for help makes a man feel weak. Does it make you feel weak, or are you looked as if you are weak?
Yeah, both. I mean, it
I got
does
you.
make you feel weak.
I got you.
Because it
I got
makes you feel like, as a man, it don't matter what happens and where you supposed to always make it happen. You're supposed to always
you.
succeed. Like, how is that? I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. What are you talking about?
But see, that's
What?
why I want it again. You gonna hear me say this 55 times. And if y'all can do me a favor, I will send y'all personally $5 to our listener. How many times at the end of the night will I say, this is why we are having this show? Because it's about y'all. This show is definitely about the men because we're not gonna get all the way to the bottom of y'all. We may not in this show tonight without knowing, like, okay, this is how men operate. All right, cool. Now I know how to deal with them. It's gonna be more. It has to be more. Take time, understand, listen, women, listen. That word right there, listen. Close your mouth and listen. Now I'm talking to myself. I ain't talking to nobody. Listen, y'all women, don't y'all come for me. Don't y'all come for me. I'm trying to speak. I'm
Mm.
trying to speak for y'all the best way I know how, but I'm speaking for me right now. Close your mouth and listen. Open them ears up and just listen. So I got you. So $5 for the person who can tell me how many times I have stopped this show to say, this is what this is for. I just said it 3 times now, y'all. So add it to the rest of them. All right. So let's dive a little bit more. Let's have a little bit more fun, y'all. What is
It's
your top
Mr.
three
J.
albums? What's your top 3 albums? Go.
You talking?
Go ahead.
You want me to go?
Let's
Yeah, you
go.
I can
go.
go.
Whoever. Y'all my listen, y'all my co-host, so y'all can ask questions too now. Y'all can ask questions too.
My
What's your
top
top
three
three
albums.
albums?
All my top three albums.
Let's go.
Uh, uh, Life After Death, Biggest Notorious Big, Illmatic, and oh man,
Now
what
listen, Jay Rich over there thinking about his. We should have
be that
probably went
third?
first with him because he
I
cheating.
already knew what I was going to say.
I think my third one is probably gonna be that. It's got to be that Poison 1990 Bell of the Vault. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay, okay. Out of those 3 albums, sing us a lyric. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. Come on.
Hey, I'm at. I'm gonna get one from Jaye. Y'all probably don't know here, but when
What's
on
that?
Jaye songs, the cadence it's a Biggie cadence. He kind of says something different, but it's a Biggie cadence. It
Uh-oh.
says, "Ladies, my
Oh yeah.
ladies, hold
Yes,
for the
sir.
back, two if you fat." He
Okay.
stole it. Y'all
Yeah,
don't know that. Yeah, he
yeah.
So Jay
stole
Rich,
it.
Jay Rich, you biting off
Got
of
that
people. Is
from
that what you
Big.
saying?
Oh, they just borrowing. I ain't biting now.
Okay,
Just a
okay
little
then.
borrow.
Okay. Little borrow. Little
That's
borrow.
it.
Just a little borrow. Okay, so what's your 3, Jay Rich?
He picked one of them, Illmatic, Reasonable Doubt, and a lot of people don't know about this one, but it was called We Are the Streets. It was about the
And who's that
Locks.
from?
That's from the Locks.
Oh, and who was that?
Y'all know, y'all man, you fired Wendy Jaye,
I'm
Jada
just
Kiss,
saying.
Style, she. Remember when Locks battled Dipset? They had a little verses going on.
No.
Okay. Well, that's who the Locks is. It's a 3-member group.
Let me go ahead and say my 3. My
Go ahead and
3.
say your three.
I say my 3 was Rihanna, Music of the Sun. That was her first album. Hey, I used to think I was an island girl. Number 2, I would say Tamia.
Oh yeah, she
Oh,
was
Tamia
fire.
Tamia.
Garnet.
Boy,
Because
she
she
was
had some
fire.
really, she had some really, really, really,
Woo!
really, really, really good ones. But it was the one where she had the daydreaming song.
Oh man, I take it back.
Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. I can't think of that CD, but that
I
one
take it
right
back.
there.
I take it
And
back.
then what happened?
Okay. No, go ahead. I changed my third one, but go ahead. Go ahead. I changed my third one.
Oh, you
Okay,
playing
and
Chains?
then
Yeah.
let me see the third one. Oh shoot. I gotta do a man. I have to do a man. I'll say Jagged Edge. Jagged Edge, darn it. It's the
That first
one with
album.
yep, the one with what no, the one with I'm not gonna say I Gotta Be used to be my favorite song, right? Oh no, we're not gonna do that because that's another question for later on. Jagged Edge is something with the thrill, where the party at. Where the party at was the
Hey, where the
Oh,
first song.
party
So
at?
whatever what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, listen.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You taking it the wrong way, man.
Oh
You take
yeah.
my college days.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, that whole city had you like, baby, you can leave. Oh, they was on it. They loved it and they was at the club.
Yeah.
They was
Yeah.
like, my woman, she leaving me. I was with that. So
Yeah.
okay,
Hey, I'm gonna change my three. I'm gonna change
go
my three from
ahead.
that poison. I gotta change. I forgot about Erica Badu. That Badu is in 1997. Cause you know Erica.
Yes. Oh,
Cause you
that's
know
my
we were in
girl.
a relationship for a number of years. She just didn't know it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
we
mean, we
loved
done
each
all
other.
did that. Usher was mine for a good long minute, and then Andre 3 Stacks. Let me tell y'all
Mm.
something. The way that man can flow,
Oh yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Three stat heat flow. He probably
Uh-uh.
one of my favorite MCs.
Yeah. And when I got
Mm.
to know somebody named Jay Rich who thinks that he looks like Most Def, I'm done with Most Def. You have made me ball it up and throw it in the trash. But yes, Most Def too. So
That's bad.
okay. And Jay Rich, you're not trying to change yours, right? Because Christopher doing what he want to do. So
No. I'm sticking on my
listen, y'all
three.
the co-host, so y'all do what y'all want to do. Again, this show is for y'all. I'm doing this for y'all. We want to get to know y'all a little bit better. So if we can, we're gonna move on to the next question. It
What's
may
up?
be deep, it may be sweet. You never know. Oh, I'm rhyming. Don't let me hear that on nobody's
Bro.
song. All right. So growing up, what did you want to be? 5-year-old Christopher, 5-year-old Jay Rich. What did you want to be? Who did you want to be growing up?
I remember when I was little. The first
Mm-hmm.
thing I ever wanted to be, I wanted to be I wanted to be an army man. Cause you remember, you probably don't
Oh,
remember this, Lisa, but you had them little green little army men.
Oh
You could
yeah,
stand them on their
yeah.
feet,
Yeah.
had them
Step to the
guns.
platform.
For some reason, I just always wanted to be in the army.
uh,
But like when I got older, of course, that aspiration went away. But I never knew what I wanted to be like growing up. I just was floating along. People be like, "Hey, what you want to be when you grow up? You want to be an engineer?" I said, "Yeah, I want to be an engineer." I didn't know what an engineer was. And when they, yeah, I want to be an engineer. Jump.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And can I ask you a question? Why didn't you go that way?
Go what way?
What changed to be an engineer? Are
Because
you
I didn't want to be an engineer. They just said it, and I said, "Yeah." I didn't know. I never knew what an engineer was.
okay?
But I didn't
Okay.
know. I never knew what I wanted to be. Well, I wanted to. I guess. I did. I wanted to be I wanted to be a professional basketball player. And then,
Oh.
like when I got to high school, that dream kind of just went away because I realized it wasn't gonna happen. I mean, I was a pretty decent basketball player, but I knew I wasn't gonna make it to the NBA. And that
Uh,
dream kind of just went away. And I didn't know after that. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was just, going through life.
hmm.
And then I guess it was my senior year, high school. I think it was in government class. We were learning about lobbyists. That
Okay.
in that was like the lesson or whatever. We were learning about lobbyists, and I said, I wouldn't mind that. That would be pretty cool, be able to influence public policy without
Hmm.
running for office and make pretty good money. I said, yeah, because I was always like a militant, like a pro-black type little kid. I was always for my people. And I
Wow.
always wanted to change the world and make it better for my people. And then as you get older and start learning how things are done, like through laws and legislation, I always want to I want to fix public policy for my people. But I never wanted to run for office. Then I learned about being a lobbyist one day in government class, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, look at you. Okay. So, Jay Rich, come on with it.
All right, so for me now, I think I realized this probably at the age of 12 or 13. I wanted to work with juvenile delinquents. That's what I wanted to go ahead and pursue. So I did. I ended up taking like some college degrees once I got into the
You
military,
took some
trying to go
college
into criminal.
degrees.
I'm sorry, my fault. My fault. Yeah, thank you for correcting me, Chris. I took some credits going towards criminal justice in college. And
You know they
I
say
never.
criminal justice is what everybody do. Everybody
Right.
starts with criminal
I,
justice or
I was doing,
communication.
I'm like, yeah, that'll get me into the field. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just kind of like Chris said, people like, "Dude, do this, do that," and I'm just like, oh, let me go ahead and do this. I had no idea how to get into the field whatsoever, what it took. Then after a while, I said, you know what, I just gave up on it. But for the fact that well, let me say two reasons why I kind of gave up on it. One is that I just figured like I really don't like school. I was just doing it just because. And
Hmm.
then two, where we at now, like I look at all the kids we got here, I said, man, I'm like, I could put all my effort into the kids we got here. I'm just like, why go out to the world? I'm like, we got all these young boys here, young girls
You
too,
did in the
but
right way, yo, because we need y'all again. This is
yeah,
why we are here today because
yeah,
we
that's
need.
it.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Well, I think for me, not think, I definitely, as I stated before, I thought my name, I changed my name to Lisa when I was younger for Lisa Frank. I wanted to be whoever and whatever that was. Lisa Frank
Who
was
was Lisa
definitely,
Frank?
Lisa, you don't remember Lisa Frank, it was like notebooks and crayons and it was just colorful for little girls, but I
Mm-mm,
wanted to be
never heard
that
of
all day. Everything was Lisa Frank, right? But when I got a little bit older, I wanted to be a gynecologist. I definitely wanted to be a OBGYN. That's what I wanted to do.
Why didn't you?
Um Schooling. I did not want to be in school long, and I knew that that wasn't something I was just. When people ask like, "Oh, 12th grade year," they're like, "Okay, so where y'all going? What you gonna do?" I was like, I'll be a gynecologist." When I knew that at that moment, hair was a passion for me, so I
Mm-hmm.
definitely went down some different paths, other than trying to do hair the way I was supposed to do it. But yeah, it was all about me being a gynecologist, and um, I think I did want to be a veterinarian at one point, but then I'm darn scared of animals. What made me look at that too, my senior year, was the money. I started to look at the highest paying jobs and then how many years in school. And that point, everything just had me like, listen, it'll come. Whatever you want to do, it'll come, and you will know it. So, with that being said, I am doing neither. I am doing none of that now. And it is what it is. Okay. But
Mhm.
y'all are listening to Flourish Girl Flourish, the podcast. This is your girl Wendy Jaye. Okay, okay, okay. All right. We're gonna move on to the next question if y'all ready.
Ready when you are.
We ready when we're all right then. What makes you happy? Give us some things what makes you happy. We want to know. We want to know. And what does happiness mean to you? Something that brings you joy, right? Something
Right.
that gets you excited and wanting more, I guess, right? What does happiness look like to you? And we're gonna start with
Mm.
Jay Rich because I'm tired of him sitting back and like, oh, I'm gonna wait because I get to think. Go
No,
ahead. We want to know what makes you happy. Right off the dome. Let's go. What
can,
makes you
can,
happy,
can,
Jay Rich?
can we kind of narrow this? Like, what you saying? Are we just saying happy? Like, if I'm just sitting here right now, no phone
Yeah.
talking, no nothing. I'm sitting in my room. What makes me happy?
Yeah. What? Listen, y'all are the co-hosts. However y'all want to answer those questions, you can. Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing, just a little secret. The
Hmm.
audience slash our listeners, they gonna drill you in that chat if they feel like it's just nah, we don't like that. They gonna get you. I got a couple of them I can call right now that I hop on here and tell y'all done lost your mind. Y'all don't give a little bit more. So it's up to you, to your discretion. What makes you happy?
Mm. Well, let me see. What makes me happy? Eating. That'll be one thing.
Oh
That'll make
yeah.
me happy. I'm a simple guy. Eating. Like no, okay. So now here's the thing. Back couple like some years ago, I did used to like to read now, but now I'm kind of like now I got a different perspective on books for because of stuff they put in there. I know it's like the author leading you in a certain way. But I'll say this though, if the book can deal with something that's like say if something that like happened in the CIA some years ago, it's like based off a true fact, and it's not nothing like the author trying to sway your opinion. I do
Mm-hmm.
like reading stuff like that. I like to read stuff, but it got to be like something that's gonna like teach me something. I don't want to just read just to be like reading for nothing. Playing chess and
Well, listen,
those are good.
let me stop you there because
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
ask this question. What's the and this is for you too as well, Christopher, but we'll remember the question, what makes you happy? What's the last book you read, both of y'all?
Behold the Pale Horse, I think. And I never read the
Oh,
whole book. It's like 400 some pages. But yeah, that
what's
was the
what's the
last book.
last book that you read and completed and could tell us about?
Goosebumps, R.L. Stein.
Oh my goodness.
The last whole book. I don't know. I read. I don't remember. I can't remember. I used to read a lot, but I can't even remember the last book. It's probably been. Oh, probably been about 15 years since I read. 16 years since I read a whole book.
Oh
Yeah,
20
my
almost.
Christian
goodness.
me.
Well, my last one was Atomic Habits.
I never heard of
No,
that. What's that?
no. My last one was, oh, I'm gonna tell my business. Y'all,
Oh,
oh, April Mason, Identity Switch.
that came
Oh,
out
you read that?
2022.
Yes, yes. It just came out now. Well, last year. So I read on that, and I mean, a good slap in the face, a nice soft feminine slap in the face. Like I said,
What you learn?
I, um oh
Did you?
my
Yeah, I
goodness.
want to hear what you
I
learned.
did. I'm sure y'all do want to know. The show about
Yeah.
y'all. Y'all want to know about me. Well, what I did learn, I can say one thing that I can share is that it's up to
Spit it
you.
out.
It's up to you. It is up to you what you want to do, what you want to change. Now, I know she was talking about femininity and becoming the woman that you need to become, but for me, what I took from that book was you are in control of that. You're in control of
Mhm.
that. Of course, with assistance, Mr. Yahuwah Most High. Yes, of course. I'm talking about if you want to change something right now, you can change it if you want to. It's all up to you. It's all in your mind. It's all within your mindset, but it definitely starts with the mind. It starts with the mind. That's what I learned. Now, did I
Mhm.
always know that? I always knew that. Did I need her to tell me that? I did not need her to tell me that. But I'm one of those people where let me just read on this. I kind of already know what it's gonna be about, but let me read on it. And by me reading on it, it holds me accountable. It holds me
Mhm.
accountable. So yeah, whatever you want to do, you can do it. Why? Yeah, did y'all want to know more? What else y'all want to know? What else y'all want to know?
Did you take any of that, and are you applying it as of right now?
Oh my goodness, when I tell you it is the hardest thing, I'm gonna tell you why it's the hardest thing, because it's different. It's a different thing for
Mm-hmm.
me. Sometimes you feel like you're operating a certain way until you are faced with those challenges or those tests. And you
Mm-hmm.
keep failing the same test over and over again in life, period. And I feel like for me, it has brought me to a whole just different. Just my mindset on a lot of things are completely different. It has been changed. And it's not just because of her, because of course, the bar, the word that we get 3 times a week and whenever and however it's laid down for us.
Mm-hmm.
But with reading that book, it definitely just adds that little touch, like the cherry on top, to enjoying being a woman. Enjoying being a
Mm-hmm.
woman, but understanding why you are one and who you are and what makes a woman in the first place. So that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning, y'all. But anyways, back to you, Mr. Christopher Causey.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
makes you happy?
If it makes you
I'm tired. Okay.
Chris
happy.
know
Oh
about that
man,
shit.
I think back on some of the happiest times of my life. I guess, I guess what makes me happy is like I guess it's an unrealistic thing. Like what makes me happy. I think back at the time when like I didn't have like any real type responsibility. I had a little
Wow.
money. Well, I had a little money.
Carefree.
Money at that time in my life. That little bit of money, I thought it was money in the bank, and it was just I could just wake up and and just do whatever I wanted to do and go what I want. Like I said, I think that's just like an unrealistic
Mm-hmm.
uh thing, a situation I could be in today, but that would make me happy. Like if I could just have like money in the bank and I could just get up in the morning, smoke my hemp, and and go out and fix work in the lawn, you know what I'm saying? Then drive, maybe
Mm-hmm.
go get something like Jay Rich said, get something to eat, mate. I like a
Get
good
some good
meal, you know
food.
what I'm saying? Get that belly,
Ooh.
good fat food,
Hey, fill up
smoke
that
some more
belly.
hens. It
Yeah.
just
You know
just no
what?
cares. Like I said, that's an unrealistic, but that's what make me happy.
Okay, well, just based off of what you just said, do you feel like you're free? And if you do
No,
feel like you're,
no,
oh my god, well, can I
no,
finish
I'm
the
not
question?
free. I'm not.
Can I finish the question? Are you free, and
No,
what makes you feel free? Okay, so he said no. Why do you
I'm
feel like you're
sorry.
not free? Let's go. Let's get into it.
because of racism, white supremacy. It's true.
Yeah.
It's
I
true.
got, I
It's
got
true.
you. I got
The
you.
way racism, white supremacy has destroyed us, and it keeps its foot on our neck.
Oh my goodness.
You
Okay, I
know,
can agree. I can agree. Okay. Okay. What about you, J. Rich?
I'm with Chris. Just to kind of even get a little bit further into it, even
His
when you
name is Christopher,
Christopher
sir. Christopher.
I'm with Mr. Christopher Cause over there. Uh,
Causey.
I like this, niggas short and stuff all the time. But not, but like just for example, even if you like say you own your own business, you contract or whatever, it's like you're never truly free. You still paying taxes to people at any time. Just like look at Elon Musk, all these billionaires, they come up when they want to kind of box you out, they'll do something, and you can have billions of dollars. They can take it from you at any time. So are we really free? The money we got, is it really our the house? Is it really our cars? All this stuff needs to be taken in the blink of an eye. So it's like, I mean, we're not really free. We're not. But I enjoy the stuff that I got, though. Don't get that twisted. I'm never complaining about what I got. But,
Yeah,
you know,
but that's the thing about it though, Jay Rick. Think about
mhm.
what you have. If you didn't have that cracker foot on your neck 24/7, you would have even more. So, and that's what
Yeah,
kills me. People
exactly.
will say, "Oh, racist white supremacy doesn't exist anymore. If you got such and such, he's black and she's black, and they got money."
Right.
Yeah, because you let one or two slip through the cracks, but that's
Hmm.
not like when you really delve into the numbers. I think like was it in LA? I think it was studied on the blacks in LA. Like the average
Hmm.
black person in LA is worth, like, when you take away um like the assets like your home, your TV, your clothes, your car, and just talking about hard cash, cold assets, cold hard cold cash assets.
Mhm.
The average black person in LA is worth like maybe I think it was like $1,200, something like that. And then
Really?
they compared it to other groups like I think Nigerians were worth like close to $100,000. White people were worth more than $100,000. Asians too. So it just tells you like how poor black people really are, and it can't be because of the melanin or in our skin. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be something else. It has to be a system in place.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
really keeping us in a impoverished state that we're in. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about what's unfair, about how men are so treated so unfairly when they do the same thing that everybody else does. So like we have in these unrealistic expectations that are placed on men. So like a black man is expected to go out and be successful in life and make this money and be this great provider, make all at least six figures. Like, and the reality of it is that's that's not real.
Right, right.
Like the average black man, he may make $38,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to find a wife, a nice, beautiful wife, the type of woman he want. She want a man making at the minimum six figures, And it's like, but okay, and then she's boxing herself out the game because the likelihood of her getting that type of male is unlikely. Then the
Right.
likelihood of the man that want her is unlikely. So
Right.
everybody chasing something that they can't get because we have these unrealistic expectations versus we go back to 75 years ago in the 50s. Black people pretty much were forced to live among themselves, fend for themselves, and our expectations were lower. So you can have a brother who may have been a blue collar brother driving a truck. He can get him a fine babe, you know what I'm saying? Because he ain't got this unrealistic
Not
expectation.
a
She a
fine
nigga,
babe.
he a nigga, we all niggas, we niggas together, So you know what I'm saying?
We
But
niggas together.
75 years later, her granddaughter wants something she can't get. Now her grandson wants something he can't get. You know what I'm saying?
But is it because that they have seen that? Because some people who are either raised by their grandparents, like, how they say back then, women, like how marriages were, I wouldn't say that they were arranged, but married very young, maybe settled, had 25,000 kids. Like things were different in those times to where now it's like I can actually choose what I think I want. And I disagree with you, Causey, Mr. Christopher, on people getting what they want, but they can't get it. I feel, well, I know you're not saying that about just all over the board, but in some cases, yes. But in some cases, I feel like people do actually they're
Oh, there it is.
strategic
Keely found it. Color
with the
wealth. Never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you got it. I know what you're talking about too. Yeah. So I feel like some people are strategic on this. Someone told me that no, we're gonna move on from that because that's for a whole different race, and we ain't even talking about them. We talking about us because we the best amongst it all. But okay, well go on. Keep going, keep going. Just scratch that. Scratch that.
All right, go ahead. What's the
Now
next question?
let's see. Who I got a good one. We're gonna go back. Now, what's your favorite song? And you gotta give us lyrics. Give us your favorite lyrics from that song.
I don't know if I have a favorite song.
Well, what song right now that you're like, oh, yep, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It can be Zamar, it can be this. What's what we knew before we knew Zamar. What's your
What's your favorite song, Jerry? I don't know if I have one.
favorite?
So okay, so here's what I got though, right? Tell me if this account. It's a lyric that stuck out in my head that I don't know, I still remember to this day because I really liked it. It wasn't my favorite song, but a lyric
Mhm,
that I kind of remember.
mhm.
So, okay, we can go with that.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, so a lyric I heard that for whatever reason I still remember to this day is when this guy he said blood thicker than water only in certain cases you need water to live, you learn that in the basics. And I was like, for whatever reason, I still remember that to this day.
Who is that? And what's the name of it?
That was from the We Are the Streets album. That's one of the favorite albums that I said I had.
Mhm.
Styles said it, and I can't remember what the name of the song was. What was the
Mm.
name of that song? I cannot remember. But I just always liked it because I was like, at that time, I didn't really get it, but then when I grew up, I kind of understood them. Like, man, I'm like, you know how they saying like, the blood. They be like, yeah, it's thicker than water. How they saying family stick together. But then coming
Mhm.
to understand, like, yeah, natural family, man, that's the man. It might not mean nothing. Like one day, like now being in this way, I kind of see like, man, you need like you said, you need water to live. Like blood. That's what don't mean nothing. Now you get in this way, they don't care nothing about you. They toss you away.
Mhm.
So like them lyrics make sense to me nowadays, but back then it's kind of just rap too. Ain't know what I was saying.
Okay, okay, okay. What about you, Christopher?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite line.
Oh
I
my
don't
goodness,
know.
you can't
Yeah.
think of one out of the three. Well, really out of the four, because you went back and changed the last one. Out of the four albums, you can't think of
Oh no,
one
those
lyric.
are like great complete albums, But I'm thinking like the best. I don't think my
Um,
best. My favorite line would probably it may, but it may. I don't. It doesn't have to.
I'm
hmm.
surprised you picking off
You,
Biggie album.
yeah. You
Christopher
know what
always
I
used to rant
like?
about that.
Yeah. You know what lyric sticks out me to most up in all like even like before I came this way, all the music I listen to, what sticks out to my mind the most is uh uh Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia.
On the midnight train to
So
Georgia.
so y'all remember back in the day, right? Like they used to, on on an R&B station, and what is it, about 10, 11 o'clock? They used to have, like, like the midnight, the midnight grooves, like the midnight love songs used to come on. And I always one of them R&B cats. I like that R&B. So I listen, I used to always be out late too, creeping and stuff. So I had the midnight love grooves on.
Listen, somebody on the chat said the quiet storm. Y'all listen, when I used to hear that come on,
Quiet
it was
Storm.
time.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Yes,
Listen to
and they
Quiet
kept
Storm.
changing how they would bring it in. Oh, I used to like that.
Uh-huh.
Let me
So
tell
I'm
y'all
so
mine. But go
so
ahead, go ahead.
I'm telling my story. So I'm sitting here, I'm listening to the Quiet Storm, rolling my ride, and that Gladys Knight and the Pips came on, Midnight Train George. And I heard this song a million times, but this one particular time, it really just, she said, I'd rather be in his world than without him in mine. And that thing hit different. I said, you know what? That's what I want right
Wow.
there. I said, you know what? I want a woman that thinks like that would rather be in my world than without me in her own. I said, you know what? That's what I want. That's what I want.
Mm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what? I like that.
Yep.
I actually do like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me just. I'm gonna bring it to Miss Lauren Hill. I did see somebody inside of the chat that said the Miseducation of Lauren Hill was their favorite
Oh yeah, that was
album.
a good one. That was a
But
good one.
the song on
Mm.
there, the Miseducation of Lauren Hill, where she says, I look at my, and I'm gonna read it now. I did go to Google. Google, you will not FINE me. That is find me, but you can find me FIND at Flourish Girl Flourish on Instagram. I am giving my props. However, it was I look at my environment and wonder where the fire went. What happened to everything we used to be? I hear so many cries for help, searching outside of themselves. Now I know that His strength is within me. Oh my goodness. I think that's
Well,
the part where that you get choked up in the throat trying to sing that song. So it's and that deep in my heart, the answer, it wasn't me. I like it just I don't know. But that's me. That's me all day. That's my
Was it
favorite
me?
song. Well, not favorite song, but
mm.
um some lyrics that stuck out to me as well. So I definitely want to hear from you guys in the chat if y'all want to share. We do have somebody that put a Katy Perry fireworks song on it. I
Who
did.
was
He's like,
Katy
do
Perry?
you ever feel like a
Some white
plastic
chick.
bag? It's a
You ain't
white
missing out,
chick.
Chris.
Good.
While we only still talking about black men, somebody gonna get on here and post a white chick. See,
Exactly.
it's always one out the front.
If somebody want to be white, I don't know. I want to be white too. Oh yeah, I would love to be
Oh
white.
yeah.
Listen, somebody said sounds suicidal. Listen, I'm done. I have nothing. I have nothing else to say about that. But this is dedicated to uh Lady V. Okay. Yesterday we was playing spades. They were playing spades actually. I was just sitting around just commentating. And it came up to Carrie Hilson. I don't know if y'all know
There's
about
something wrong
Carrie.
with your phone again.
Dude, what about now?
Yeah, because you be getting muffled.
I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
why. What about now? Can y'all hear me
Yeah,
good?
that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Okay. So Carrie Hilson, and it was the lyric. She said, "I'm having nightmares from sleeping with the enemy." And Lady V, that's for you, girl. I'm gonna go ahead and share yours. That may not be your favorite song, but I'm gonna share that. We shared some vocals back and forth because that used to be our girl. But
Wait, who has
yeah,
some nightmares sleeping with the enemy?
Carrie Hilson. That's the song. The song is called Energy. So she's saying, I'm having nightmares from sleeping with the enemy. How did y'all really gonna make me sing this song? And I know y'all know I don't know words. I gotta read stuff. I don't want us to be the enemy. This love is taking all of my energy. So she was in a relationship that was draining her energy and she wanted to sing about it. So we definitely bonded on that on one of those lyrics, and that's for you, Lady V. All
Can
right,
we
we're
talk
gonna move
about that
on.
staying? Can we talk
Here we
about staying
go.
in relationships that you don't want to be in no more?
You know what? Let's do it. Why not? Thank you, Carrie Hilson, for that. We appreciate you. I don't want you to come FINE me, but you can find me at flourishgirl.flourish on Instagram. Let's talk about relationships that you're in just a little bit too long. When do you know when to
Walk
walk out
away.
that door? Walk out that door. Let's talk about it. What's your question? And y'all, please call in if y'all got some questions and y'all want to answer these questions that our wonderful co-hosts are coming up with. Because again, this is for our men. All right. All right. So let's go with it. What you think? What's your thoughts on that?
So if like how long is too long to stay in a relationship that's not beneficial?
I want to say when it becomes work, but at the same
Mhm.
time, is it always work? Like, I'm a little
That's a good
Always.
question. That's a good question. But you know what? The answer probably one of the answers could be it's always going to be work, but some work is enjoyable and it doesn't feel like work.
uh-oh.
But when
Uh-oh.
it starts to, so I guess it would be when it starts to feel like work, not when it
Got
becomes
you.
work, but when it starts
O-
to feel like work. Like this is too
Okay.
much.
Okay. I can agree with you. So it just doesn't flow. What about
Yeah,
that? Like,
yeah.
okay.
And
Okay.
you
So,
think sometimes people try to force it. If it ain't
mm,
natural, just gotta let it go. If it don't flow,
if it
I'm
Oh
don't
rhyming
boy,
flow.
too.
gosh.
I'm rhyming.
Do you believe that though? Okay, so can you confuse a pit stop with it's time to go? Or I don't want to say pit stop. Can you confuse it's time to walk out the door with we may need to rebrand, we may need to go back to the foundation and try again? Like, can you confuse those two? And what could be the difference to you as far as that having to
That's
rebrand,
good. I think you can
reconstruct?
confuse them, but
Okay.
yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. What about you, Jervis? What you think? What you think? Can you confuse those two? Do you feel like what stands out? What would actually make you say, "Okay, this is it. Like this is it. I'm gone." Like not just one foot, both feet out the door. This is it.
So
What's your take
so
on
let
that?
me let me actually reverse it instead of me saying like within the woman. Let me reverse it. Like say if a woman's dealing with the guy and like let's just say I remember Christopher brought up earlier a guy we
Hey,
looked
sorry
at.
to cut you off. We have our listeners that couldn't hear that question. So the question from
Oh, go ahead.
Christopher was, what let's talk about, well, not a question, but let's talk about staying in a relationship too long when it's time to go. Let's talk about that. And my question was, is there can you confuse the two, which is it's time to go or it's time to just rebrand, reconstruct. Let's start. We gotta rebuild. Let's go back to our foundation. So go ahead, Jay Rich. Sorry about that.
No, no, you good. So I'm gonna give an instance on when it should be time to go. So let's reverse. Like if a woman's dealing with the guy, and say if the guy has just say he has like how he's starting off like minimum wage or whatever, but he has ambitions to be like, okay, I'm starting off at here, but I plan to get my own business. I plan to do this, save up, branch off, and save. This woman's dealing with this guy. Let's just say 6 months going on towards a year, somewhere in between that time frame, and if she's saying that this guy is like he just stuck here at McDonald's and like he's not moving up to like team shift leader to
Mm-hmm.
manager to this or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and not saying he can do this in a year, but she's not seeing any progress, I would say for that woman, it'd be time. That's the time just to go cut it off, because you can start seeing signs on the person to be like, they're not growing. They don't
No
have any
drive, no
ambition. Yeah, no
motivation.
drive or anything. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be a time I say, don't pit stop. Don't say, oh, let me wait. Because a lot of people will get caught up in that. And before you know it, 2, 3 years of your life are just down the drain with somebody giving you promises and broken promises. And y'all there now stuck with a baby or something. And now it's even worse. Now if you ain't have money to take care of just y'all two, now it's worse than that. Now you really stuck. And that's how people really get stuck in relationships, bad
Oh,
relationships.
okay. I like that. I like your. I like your point of view. Okay. Okay. So no
I
ambition,
appreciate that,
no
Wendy Jaye.
drive, no motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But you
like
know, in this way, you get married. You get if you stuck in a relationship, you stuck.
That's true.
you're
That's why y'all got to
stuck.
choose very
Wisely.
carefully. Y'all got to choose very wisely. Make sure.
But look, Christopher, let me know if I'm doing it right. You're stuck. You're stuck.
There it is. It's the low.
You're stuck. You're stuck.
I said, don't
Yeah,
do it. Don't
there
do
it is.
Don't
it.
do
Break it
Don't
down.
it.
do it. Don't do it.
I'm done. I'm done. Somebody in the chat, they put a meme. You're stuck with me. Don't forget you're here forever. Oh, how cute. That's toxic though. That is real toxic. That is toxic now. I'm telling you. Everybody, I think everybody done been on their whole streak of being toxic. And you may be able to look back and just say, now that was toxic. In the moment you may not say that, but that's cool. You know, you live and you learn, you do better. That's it.
Oh
Period.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's see. We're gonna do another one, y'all. What? I don't think y'all not ready. Y'all not
What?
ready.
Oh.
Put it out there.
I don't think
Put it out there.
I don't think y'all should. I let y'all be the judge of that. I don't
Put
think
it
y'all
out
ready.
there.
Yeah, yeah. Go.
Okay.
Put
Put it
it
out
out.
there.
Whew. Okay. If I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it.
Oh.
I got to. I got to.
Was is
I
that
got
like a
to.
whole story in itself? Like you could have a whole show on that one question.
Okay, let's do it. Do you believe in second chances?
Yes. Without a
Okay.
doubt.
Depending
Without
on the
hesitation.
offense.
Here he go. Depending on the affair. I should know,
It
but
depends on
do
the
you
offense.
believe in second chances? Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask this question because there are times where I have needed to have that one more. Please, you give me one more chance. Like it
Mm.
was me needing it. I think it's different when you're extending it. You're like, please, why? You should have
That's
got it right
definitely
the
true. You're
first
right.
time, right? But then
That's
when it's
true. You're right.
you that needs that second chance, i.e. the forgiveness, i.e. the grace, when it's you that needs it, it's
Mm.
different. It hit
This is
different. It
America,
humbles you.
man. This is the
That's
land of
true.
second chances. This is the
Hey,
land of the underdog.
okay, okay.
no,
So y'all both
no,
believe in second chances.
I definitely believe in second chances.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
do.
okay. So let me ask you this. And before or now, because Christopher is back out there in the dating game. What is a deal breaker for you in a relationship? What's a deal breaker? And we don't want a deal
Mm,
breaker that used to be one, because you have a different mind.
right,
You get a different mindset after after different
right,
events in life.
right,
But
right, right,
what's a
right.
deal breaker for you?
I guess my number one deal breaker. I mean, the bottom line, the base deal breaker is I want somebody who has the same. I would like to have someone who has the same spiritual mindset. Who has the same beliefs,
Mm,
same religious belief. I mean, that's like the number one deal breaker.
over everything. I got you.
But
Got you.
from there, I would just have to say, for me, a deal breaker, like another deal breaker, just like really major for me, if someone vying for my position. And what I mean by that is a female who I feel like we're in competition with each other. Like I don't like that. Like
Mm,
I don't want nobody to try to make me feel like I'm in competition with them. I feel like everybody should know their roles and play their roles.
yes.
And if there needs to be a discussion about what roles are, let's have that discussion. and then we
Do you
agree.
feel like? Let me ask you this though, and I just got to get this out. When you say that, as far as the roles, do you feel like? Do you find it? I don't want to say, do you find it disrespectful, but do you feel like people should just know their roles? Because this is the first time I'm actually hearing where somebody says, "Hey, if we need to sit down and talk about our roles, let's talk about it." But do you
Yeah.
feel like some people feel like you should already come with that? You know, like them toys that's packaged at
I mean,
Walmart, like batteries
I
included.
think we want to. I mean, I think naturally we're gonna feel like you should know your roles, but realistically, that's not real. That's not real.
That's not
I think the
real.
Mhm.
more realistic aspect is that discussion about what our roles need to be that discussion needs to be had because everybody don't know their roles, and even in knowing your role, and when you get into relationships, okay, you know your role, but when you get into a specific relationship, that role can be tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like if in a relationship, if a man says, a woman feel like her role is to cook and clean, but that man that she marries may be like, hey baby, I know you can cook and clean, but you know I'm gonna cook and clean just as much as you. So so her role is tweaked a little bit because she's not having to do it as much as say Sally Jane down the street. Her husband want her. He don't cook and clean at all. He leave
Mhm.
that totally to his wife. So that's what I think those type of things need to be discussed.
Okay. And you're willing to have that conversation. You're willing.
Oh yeah,
So when is
yeah.
it at that point where we stop having that conversation? At this point, where you need to just walk in it. Is that staying too long after that? Oh, y'all see how I'm bridging them
What?
questions
No,
together?
I
Let's
don't
go.
understand the question. I don't understand what you
Okay,
mean.
so basically, the question we just had: when do you know when do you know when it's time to go? Basically, when you know when
Right,
it's time to pack them bags.
right,
So once that person is not getting or understanding their role, and who's to say every role will be different with every person,
right,
correct? Okay.
right,
So it's not just a cookie cutter type thing. So if
right.
you're talking to a person and hey, this is what I would like, do you feel like the man should tell the woman what her role is? Or do you feel like the woman should just, I guess, flow more to her role depending on the man?
I think that's what I'm saying. I think that discussion needs to be had. A man just say,
Okay.
this is what I like, this is what I like, and the woman should say, this is what I like, this is what I like, and this is what I do. And if
Mhm.
everybody come to an agreement, you can move forward. But like a lot of women, especially in today's time, like they're very ambitious as far as
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
careers and want traveling and I mean they're very ambitious. If it might, and a lot of guys are starting. What I'm starting to notice is starting to be more traditional. And a lot of
Mhm.
women that doesn't float there. That's not what they're trying to do. So a
Got you.
lot of and I think people are getting into marriages not talking about this kind of thing. They just like you, just like the way you look. They look, and I think they get along well, but they have actually they want two different things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And okay. Someone in chat said they are bred, raised, and encouraged to be that way. Okay. What about you, Jay Rich? Where you at?
Um, what was the original question? Because the original question was what's a deal breaker with 'cause I know we kind of branched off and
Yes.
we
Okay,
talked about a
good
lot from the original
mind.
question. So I'm
Okay,
just
good mind. What's
I
the
need to
deal
know where I
breaker?
need to start from.
Let's say this. What was the deal breaker for you as far as like relationship wise? What was something you were like, no bueno?
Mm, you know what?
No boy,
Here's
no.
here's see my story could branch off to something totally different, but let me kind of say it
Know
on this.
that.
The deal breaker. This is what the deal breaker should have been when we first dated. When I found out, not when I found out. Let me take that back. When me and my wife, which was my girlfriend at the time, when arguments were getting heated, and we weren't even married yet, like not even living together. When we were arguing too much, and when stuff started getting physical, I'm talking about like us putting hands on each other.
Yeah.
That should have been a deal breaker. But it's kind of how
Mm,
Christopher said, like you looking with them the wrong eyes. You like on 90% of the time you getting along. You say, oh, I'm gonna look past a little 10%, but really those are and let me say this too. Those were it was bad things on my end too because me dishing it out and I could say like, oh, she provoked me to do it, but now I gotta look at myself. Why did I give into it? why did I even
Correct.
go that far to do it? I should have just walked away. So it was something wrong in my mind, as well as something wrong with her to kind of try to get me that, oh, hit me, nigga, or whatever. However, it kind of popped off. So that those were all those should have been deal breakers back then. So for all of y'all that are single out there, if y'all are arguing and y'all ain't even had sex yet, I'm talking. Well, let me say this: if y'all are arguing and this is just arguing like crazy, I'm not just saying like disagreements, like, oh, I don't like chili, oh, I like this. Yeah, y'all can argue about little stupid stuff. That's cool, but if it's just too much arguing going on, and you just like, man, we ain't married and we ain't living together, like,
Don't be
yeah, we
afraid
could.
to walk away.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Do not be afraid to walk
Yeah,
away. Be like,
be
look,
afraid to
this
walk
Do
not
away.
gonna
not
work.
be afraid to walk away.
I
Yeah.
believe that there is always better, and when I say better, I'm not talking down to the person before. It's just
Right,
that
right,
that is what it is. That situation is that situation. You will be great for someone. It's just not for
mhm,
me. So
right.
when
Mhm.
you can get that in your brain and you can
Yeah.
actually believe that for yourself, I feel like things will start to change for you and who you are as a person. But let me ask this because I gotta just ask this question because this is the question that I found on Google. I'm giving my props. Name one bad quality in a partner you be okay with. And this bad quality does not have to be they beat me on top of the head, they cheat on me. It does not have to be that. What is something that you're like, you know what? That's my woman. Like, that's my woman. She fart in public. That's my woman, okay? That's my farting woman. Like, what's a quality that you like? Listen, but that's my woman. What you think?
Hold up. Now, what you said?
Name one bad quality in a partner that you be okay with. Snores when you
Oh,
sleep, and I say bad quality that again, this is your perspective on what
Right.
you think. So what's something that you can rule out as that is horrible, but hey, that's mine.
That's horrible.
oh man.
I
Oh
gave a good
man.
one. Somebody who just passed gas all just I'm just
Oh,
letting it rip.
that is a good one.
One
What
bad
about a
one.
snacker? I can't stand those. Listen, close your mouth when you eat. I should not
Oh
see what's in
man,
there. I should not know you eating unless I know we sat down to eat.
that
Like,
greed is so bad. I
drives
can
me
say that.
nuts. That's a pet peeve, but I don't even think I could do that. If you smack, oh, we would never eat together.
Yeah, look, that would be hard. I don't know why that get on my nerves. I don't like that. I can take a snort, like, look, yeah, snoring, man. That'll probably be one. But
Mm.
now here's the thing with snoring. Once y'all finally get to see it's once you actually get if you don't fall asleep first and your partner snore, it's a wrap. You might as well just not get a good night's sleep. You got to fall asleep before them. If they start snoring, you done.
I can
You get
understand
no
that.
sleep.
You know what? I'll
But
probably
see,
say
but
a
that's something
bad
you can deal
dresser.
with. That's something you can deal
I
with.
could
Like
I could
you
deal
got
with
a
it, yeah, as
solution.
long as I fall asleep first.
Go to
I can
sleep
deal with
first.
that.
Go lay
I'll
down and
probably
go to
Exactly.
have to.
sleep. That
I
means you
probably
up.
have to say like a bad dresser.
Oh, you can deal
What?
with that?
Yeah, I can deal with that.
But can you help that though? See, but that's
Yeah, I
something.
can
But
help
see,
that. Like, cause like, there's some people like their style just may not be my style. But you know,
mm-hmm.
Mm.
like, you know what? I ain't really feeling your style, like how you put your range your outfits. But I can deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
I
You
like the
Mm.
know?
confidence in you. Like, how she show up with that outfit on though? She show up looking
Yeah.
like trash, or she
Right,
like,
right.
listen, I'm owning
Yeah,
this. I'm
yeah,
owning this mismatch patterns
yeah,
and
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of raggedy, but I can deal with that. I can deal with that. You cool? I can deal with that.
Oh my goodness. Like I said, I can't. I don't. I don't I don't think smacking. Like I said, it's the smacking for me. Could I?
Oh, smacking, that really ain't no big.
Because that means you are at least gonna eat 3 to 8 times a day. And when I say 3 to 8, I mean
Yeah,
you
hey,
may pick up
good.
You
some.
don't have to. You don't have to eat with him.
I know, I
You
know.
gonna feel some
But
type of way if
sometimes
you don't.
a good meal with your significant other, or that's I don't know it hits different. I feel like that's a different type of spending time together, right?
See, but you know what? See, that needs to be handled before y'all even get married. Like when y'all go out to dinner, and you see that the nigga snap and be like, hey man, we need to have a conversation. The way you eat is disgusting to me. You need to
Now,
close your
y'all, wait, let
mouth.
me make this clear in the chat. We're not talking, when I say bad qualities, we're not talking about red flags. We're not talking about cheating, you're hitting me, you calling my mama out her name. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about like things that people do that you're like, oh, it drives me crazy, but you're my person. You're still my person. I can be okay with that. That's what we're talking about, just to clear it up. But go ahead, Christopher. I'm sorry.
Nah, that's it. That's it. I'm done.
That's it. That's it. He done. All right. So let's go. Do y'all have any questions that y'all want to open up to the audience, or y'all want to bring in a caller? What y'all thinking? Do we have any callers that want to hop on in? Let's
Yeah, I
see.
want I want Princess to come on. She's talking about
Ooh.
some that man don't exist that Christopher was talking about earlier. The one they said that
Oh
come together.
snap.
I want to see why she say he don't exist.
Okay, and her name is Lady P because
Oh,
she's
I'm
been a
sorry,
co-host here. Lady
Lady
P,
P.
that you have been called to the front. Let's go. I'm gonna need you to call on in, but I'm gonna ask another question until you're able to come on in and join us. If not, just kick the door in like they always do. What? Okay. Ooh, I got a good one. If you're playing hooky for a day, and when you say playing hooky, not doing the things that you usually do, like Monday through Friday, you're typically at work. If you decide on a Tuesday, I'm not going in. How are you spending the day? What's your hooky day?
I'm sorry. Repeat that one more time. I was responding to the audience.
Oh, here you go. Okay. If you're okay, so playing hooky for a day, how would you spend it?
Oh, no work and none of
No working.
that.
However I want
Oh
to.
yeah, that'd be eating crime TV,
You gonna do what?
eating and watching like some Discovery ID for my man Snap all that.
Mm.
I'm gonna spend it smoking some hemp
Oh yeah.
Oh my
all day.
goodness. But see,
Hmm.
don't you do that on a regular day?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm trying to
But
do it.
no, when you play hooky, you do something different.
No, that's what I
Right?
want to do. That's what I want to do. You
Okay.
can't make. How you gonna tell me what I want to do?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm talking about. That's a prime example. You are trying to emasculate me and tell me what I want to do on my day off.
Call out Christopher.
Never. Really? Really, Jay Rich? That's what you're gonna do? For real? Well, listen, I don't see anyone calling in yet to ask any
We're on
questions.
here.
Oh, who do we have?
Oh,
Please,
who that?
please introduce yourself. What's your name?
Hey,
And thank you
girl.
for listening. Hey, what's your name?
I thought Chelsea was on here too, but I think she may have hung up. This is Lady P,
Oh,
aka Lakieta.
Jay
Um,
Rich, don't run now. She here, Jay Rich. Don't run.
Oh no, I'm
Let's
here. I
go.
wanted to stay the case.
Let's go. State it.
no, so I think you misunderstood.
Yeah.
So Chris was saying that, basically the relationships are not all the same. Like, you might have a man who says, he's gonna cook and clean just as much as his wife. And I was like, well, where's that man at? And then Chelsea was like, he doesn't exist. So we all laughed about that. But see, the reason that got a response out of me, because I totally agree. Like, everything does not have to be 100% on one person all the time. That even goes with money and finances. And just having that respect for your partner, especially if they've had a long day, if y'all have multiple kids and maybe you had a lighter day at work or something, and if you know how to work the grill, go, throw some steaks on the grill or something while she does what she needs to do to wind down. I think that's a great way to consider your partner, if you're willing to do things that they would normally do, but you're okay to do it too. That's all I was
Hmm.
saying. Like, where's the man who thinks like that? Because a lot of men who want to be traditional, it's all one way. Like, they're gonna make the money, they're gonna pay the bills, no questions asked. Woman is gonna just primarily work in the home, no questions asked. But I think it's still good for everyone to know how everything operates, because you never know when one person is going to need you to step in and fill that position for them. So
That is
that's all I was
true.
saying.
I like that. I did like. I like that. I like that.
Thank
I
you.
like that. Hmm.
Can I state a scenario that just happened recently?
Oh snap! Let's go.
Certainly.
We just recently we had one of our beloved fall sick, and we had Slim Cookie. That man stepped up. He made meals for the family. I'm pretty sure dressing the kids, getting them ready for school while his beloved wife was sick. So we got some of them out there who step up to the plate and do
Okay.
stuff and it's, you know,
Absolutely.
Hmm.
and I
Absolutely.
believe
Slim
it's more
Cookie.
out there.
Absolutely. I mean, you got one on the phone. Honorable mention. I mean, this man completely took care of his spouse, you know?
Yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, those are things that people just don't look at things like that. Like you have to be willing to go that extra mile or fill in those blanks if someone can't do it. I think that's a great mindset to have, because if you're
Oh
not
yeah.
willing to do it, then the whole family's gonna crash if you're not willing to step up, you know? So
Hmm.
but yeah, that was all I wanted to say. You guys have been doing great.
Do
Loving the
you have a
show.
question for our
Oh,
co-host?
well, I think I put a couple questions in the chat, but some of the men in the chat were answering too, so I was able to get those perspectives. But I no, I don't have any pressing questions that I would ask right now. So, but y'all make sure y'all come on back now so I can ask them next time.
Oh, here she go. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you for
Yes, ma'am.
calling.
Thank you for having me. Y'all have a good night.
Absolutely.
Bye.
You too. Do we have any more callers on the line that want to ask our co-host some questions? And co-host, do y'all have some questions that y'all want to ask to bring somebody back on the line? Any questions?
Mm. I do have a question.
Alert, let's go.
Actually, this question is for you mainly, but it could be for some of the female listeners that we have as well.
Okay, okay, let's go.
Okay,
Y'all
so
have
so
my
now
back now. Don't let this man drag me.
no,
Y'all can have
this question is actually based off of something Christopher said earlier, which I want to kind of know from your perspective. Christopher stated earlier, and I'm just paraphrasing. He can correct me. He was saying that if a man makes man, he said the man's not looked at as like what did you say, Chris? If a man's making minimum wage, he's kind of looked at as like
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
looked
trying
down
or
upon. He's really not. He's really not no. He would not be looked at on as a provider. He wouldn't.
mm,
right. And I'm 100% with that. But from a female perspective, I kind of want to know, like when females get into groups, right? Like just say if y'all scouting for men and you say you got a man who's doing, say he's making that little bit, but he has that potential, and you got another man who's already at that level, like in y'all group where y'all look at that man that has potential and say, hey girl, like I got this guy here, like he's not making much, but like I still take him, or will y'all kind of clown that man and kind of add on to the truth that how we see it, how we looked at it is like nah, like
okay, so
yeah,
based
yeah,
off
well,
of your verbiage, because you
mm,
just said the man that's making, I guess, like minimum wage or whatever, and he's on his way up. You said, "I'll take him." I feel like for that, that sounds more like a settling thing for me as opposed to the man that has it all. That's a no brainer. For
mm,
me, I quality time is a big thing for me. I like to know who I'm trying to spend the rest of my life with. Like I would like to get to know you a little bit more now. Yes, finances is that's a part of everything. Finances
mm,
and other things, that countless things that we could talk about. But I think for me, I'll have to definitely look at the person and tell me if I'm answering this correct. Not tell me if I'm answering your question. Basically, I'll have to
mm,
look at this. I'll have to look at that person for, of course, who they are, because I may not even know where you work at yet. But how you grab my attention and how you keep it matters to me. I have dated somebody who was, not up there with the money, but was had a, I want to say, had a vision, had somewhere that he wanted to go, had plans, had goals, and was inspired to do better. What that was just not a place he wanted to stay. Of course, later on that things did not end up the way that we had wanted things to end up, but I still don't see it as well, I took it as it was more of a selling thing when you said I'll take him, as opposed to I'm rocking with him. That's it. No, I like him. Oh no, he's that's me. So maybe I'm taking it wrong, but when you said that part, I'm like, that's a whole selling type thing. And I feel like you feel like men are more prideful when they feel like they don't have the amount of money that the next man may have, but they feel like they let me rephrase this question the right way.
I'm sorry. I should have rephrased my question.
Okay, rephrase it.
So you liking and you digging the guy. Let me ask you like this: do you look down upon first, like even before you like him first, but then you found out where he works later, and it's kind of just low wages, and you probably make more than him. Do you look down upon him at that point? That's how I meant to kind of phrase the question. Is you look down upon what you find out that information?
Ooh, do you look down upon him? I wouldn't. Why you laughing? I don't think I don't honestly think, because I don't think I've been in that situation before. I don't think that I would look down on him. I do feel like at that point, you have these different, like, say you have financial, you have how you make me feel, how you dress, how
Mm-hmm.
you look, the attraction, your mindset. It's like that's an X on my list. The financial part is the X, but are the other things good? Like, where's his mental at? Is his mental where? And that's why you have to get to know people. I can't just A guy at McDonald's has tried to talk to me before. A guy at the grocery store has tried to talk to me before. When you know how much they're getting paid, it's not like, please. No. How did you address me?
Mm-hmm.
How quick were you to say, you know what, I want to take you out? How were you just like, ooh, you look good, as opposed to, hey, I would like to get to know you? Like, how did you approach me? That'll keep you going to the next thing. I feel like who you are as a person and where your mental is when you are trying to speak to someone, or even be interested in a mate. I feel like that's what matters to me at first. Now, with the financial part, if
Mm-hmm.
you not where you, first of all, are you happy with what you making? Like, I mean, I may be okay with where I am. Are you happy? Because I know that may be a problem down the line. So what do
Right.
you plan on doing with that? Then you have those type of questions. But if I don't like you from the jump, we're not even gonna get to this base. You can stay right where you at. We good. And there
Right.
has to be some type of attraction. There has to be some type of, okay, all right. I'm feeling you a little bit. It has to be that for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And there's so many ways to skin a cat, as my grandma used to say. There are so many ways that you can go out there and get money. Who knows? Me meeting you may be, oh snap, you do this. I may be able to put you on somewhere. I may know
Mm-hmm.
a contractor or somebody, and then bam, you got two jobs and you doubling what I'm making. But because I just passed on you, like, no, you just never know. So
Right.
that's my approach to it. If that answered your question, if someone else would like to answer that question, please join in and answer that question for Jay Rich, because for some reason he really want to know, y'all. He really want to know how y'all feel about that. Christopher, what you feel about my answer? How you feel? You call bull crap? What you call? What you got?
I got lost in it. Yeah, it was so long. I'm
Christopher thinks you danced around it, that you
I'm
don't want to
I
just say
don't
you're
be
not
honest.
going to take a
You know
man who make
what?
less.
People have said that
It
about
was
me
just a
before.
bunch
Cause
of
they're like,
nigga
goodness,
babble.
like, can you just? But I'm learning how to be more straightforward. I said it
Mm-hmm.
towards the end, which is I
Nigga babble.
I don't I wouldn't want somebody to look down on me for something that can change. If it can
Mhm.
change and I have the mind to change it, that's different. If I'm there and I'm just there and that's who you are, listen, I've been here for 15 years and you still a cashier at the front at McDonald's, we got a problem. And
Mhm.
I ain't coming down on McDonald's. But there's no movement in that area in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you can barely afford yourself. How you gonna afford
Mm-hmm.
me
Yeah.
and kids and this and that? So that's my answer.
Well, this is what I gotta say about this. So I always like to go back to the economics. When you look at the numbers, black people, we are an impoverished people across the board. We're all broke. I mean, when I say broke, I'm talking about dirt poor. When you look at the real numbers, we have no money. So
Okay.
we all need to get that in our minds when we're looking at mates and just realize the nigga broke, the woman broke, everybody broke. So it shouldn't be any poor shaming going on.
Got you.
So we shouldn't be shaming someone else for being poor because we're all poor when you look at the numbers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so when we get it in the mind, okay, and with that being said, you still want to look at, okay, I'm a young man, I go out and meet a young woman, or a young woman should go meet a young man,
Mm-hmm.
and she's talking to the guy, and the guy, like we were talking about, he works at whatever he works at, it's a low
Mm-hmm.
wage job. She needs to understand he's poor, she's poor. Don't poor shame each other. Just realize we can't afford to be together, so it's not going to work. It ain't about me looking
Ooh.
down upon you or you looking down upon me. Just the reality of it is it wouldn't work because we can't afford to be together. You
Got
know,
you.
and then at some point in time, somebody advances and get money, and then I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, when you get like it's economics, like
Mm-hmm.
people just need to get out of our feelings and just say, hey, because white people do it all the time. They call it family planning.
True.
Like they plan their families. Nigga just jump into stuff. You just jump into a relationship because you love each other. You can't afford to be together. You
Right.
both broken, poor, and destitute. You know what I'm saying?
That's true though.
Okay.
But I'm not going to shame you for that because we
I
all
got.
broke, poor, and destitute.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, shut me up then. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. Okay. And just because you got $2 more than me don't mean that I'm poorer than you. Okay. We all still poor.
We all poor. You know what I'm saying? You know
We
what I'm
all
saying?
still in that line together.
You know, you know.
Okay. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why? Mm. Christopher, keep it
Go
rated
ahead,
G.
Jahi. Jahi.
Oh man, if I had listen, you know what, that crossed my mind so many times. I had to be able to go invisible just for like a couple of minutes. If I could just do that, that'd be cool. Cause it can get you out of so many situations. It can get you out of just a lot of things. Just say you're in a dangerous situation or whatever. They be like, hey, where you go? Somebody pull that burnout on you. They be looking around. You be gone. That or teleportation. If I do two of them things, yeah, life would be so much easier.
Hmm.
I would like to have mind control.
Oh, that brother,
Why?
that brother think like them crackers.
Why? Like exactly. Wait, Christopher. Why? Why? Because you just said you don't feel like you free. Why do
Mm-hmm.
you want to have that? Is this retaliation or is
No,
it just
it's
a
not
okay?
retaliation. I would
Okay.
like to have mind control because if you could there are obstacles in your life, and most obstacles are gonna come from another human being. So if I'm going through life, like say for instance, I'm applying for some type of program or something, and I got this human being that's preventing me
Mm-hmm.
from my applications from being accepted or submitted or whatever, and I need this obstacle moved. I would like that power of controlling that person's mind so they'll comply to what I need them to comply with so I can continue to go on in my life, peacefully, and get done what I need to get done.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
There we
Dang.
go. Like Professor X.
Okay. Well, I think my superpower would be I want to fly. I want to fly. And I would want to have what is it called? Is it called X-ray vision? What is it called? When you
Oh, like see through walls and all that.
listen, nosy. I would like to, yeah, like a fly on the wall. How about that? Just nosy. Just I want to know. How about that? I
Yeah,
want to fly and I want to know.
yeah.
Okay. I don't see anyone in the chat saying their superpower, so we're gonna move on, you guys. Now I have a really, 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 really good question.
And I'm so sad because I feel like I just lost it. Where is it? Oh, here we go. This is the one I wanted to say for you guys. If you could tell your former self one thing right now, what would it be? I'm going to repeat it just for our listeners, if we could. We have somebody in the chat that said, I would have the power to remember everything for the superpower question. Okay. And then somebody run. Uh, okay, well, I guess. I guess.
Right.
But listen, I don't know. I'm not sure what that was for. Somebody said they want to be invisible. I would like to be invisible too, but how long are you gonna be invisible? When are you gonna be seen? Like, are you invisible for the rest of your life? That means don't nobody
No,
know
no, no.
you.
That'll suck your whole
I
life. It
mean,
just
it's
be
dope, but at the
moments in
same
time.
time, yeah, it's dope. Like mind readers. I like some people like I want to be able to hear people or hear people's thoughts and stuff. It was a movie called what is it with Taraji? What Men Want. She couldn't turn it
Hmm.
off. She heard everybody's mind as opposed to the one person's mind you wanted to understand. So
Mm.
that changed my mind because we're not doing that. We're not
That'll
doing
drive you crazy. You know everybody mind. That mean people talking about you in your head and all. You be like,
it.
that'll probably drive
Exactly.
somebody crazy.
Right. Right.
So what
Well,
was the question again, Alicia?
so here's the new question. So I went back to the chat just to talk about the superpower because we
Wendy
had a
Jaye,
couple people. But yes, Wendy Jaye, you fine. You fine. So what's one thing you know? If you could tell your former self one thing right now, what would it be?
oh yeah, zip it up. Keep it paying.
You know
That
what?
was, yeah. I can go back. I tell you, keep it in your pants.
That's a
Oh
good one
my
though.
goodness. Oh
That's a
wait,
good
y'all,
one.
I
wait,
come
y'all.
on back. I come on back. I come on back.
Y'all, I think we got a caller. I think we got a caller. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see. Now, Christopher said to zip his pants up. That would be his what he would tell his former self.
That's it.
We have a
That's
caller.
it.
Caller, introduce yourself. What's going on? Uh-oh.
Y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Hey guys, Lady V, how y'all doing?
We're doing all right,
Cool.
Lady V.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, Christopher, and yourself?
I'm well.
Wonderful. Jay Rich, how are you, sir?
Lady V is going on. I'm good.
That is wonderful to hear. I
No
heard
lag.
no, you. I heard you say you for me to click in or to call in, so I'm here.
Okay, well, let's go. What if you could tell your former self one thing right now, what would it be?
Hmm.
While you think
Don't
about
go.
that, we have someone in the chat. It says, don't let anyone's praise make you confident and anyone's lack of praise make you feel unworthy. Love yourself. I like that. I like that. What's yours, Lady V?
Don't go past the signs.
Oh,
Mm.
I saw the sign
Yes,
in the
the signs are
mind.
there. Don't go. Don't go past go. Like don't go. Stop.
Okay. In certain situations, though, right? Because some red lights do turn green. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
That's
you like
good. That's
that?
good.
It
That's
Some
do.
good.
okay, okay. Listen,
Oh,
some
you're
lights
done.
do turn green, but some of them are constantly blinking red and they never turn.
Okay. Okay.
Boom,
Okay.
boom.
Only if it's a storm because they start blinking, right? They there. They there
No,
flashing, right?
you tried it. Stop it.
Okay, okay. No problem, no problem, no problem. Okay, well, you guys, it has been an amazing time tonight talking to y'all, especially
Yeah.
with our men. But I want y'all to leave the men. I would like for you guys to leave one thing to the women to know about y'all. What is one thing that you would like for women to know about men? What's one thing you're like, I want y'all to know this.
Contrary to popular belief,
Mm-hmm.
the black man loves his black woman.
Oh,
And no matter what society may say, at the end of the day, that black man like them big old booties, them big old thighs, them big old nigga lips,
you know what?
that natural nigga hair. The black
Okay.
man love it. He love it. He loves
Okay.
it. Don't believe the hype, people. Well, society is not true. The average black man walking the street, he love that nigga woman. That's what I believe.
I appreciate that. Yes, we got him in the comments. Yes, Christopher. All right, Jay Rich, what about you? What's one thing you want to leave with the women listeners or anybody all around the world? Because you know
Can I ask?
we all over here. Flourish Girl Flourish is all over. Let's
Can
listen.
can can I leave two things? Is that that's possible? The first thing is not going to be very long.
Okay, go ahead.
So two things. I want women to know that men are not hard to understand or please. We're very simple. It's very easy to
Mm.
just kind of just please a man or just subside with the man or whatever. And then two, can women please stop listening to all this YouTube, the Kevin Samuels and
Oh
what they
my
call it, the
goodness.
red pill stuff, because the average man, I don't know where this community has just popped up from with this doctrine and everything, but I would say if you talk to the average man, it's very more simpler than what everything that they're saying on there. They built this whole the high value and all this. I'm just like, who made this stuff? I'm just like, when we was out here dating, we didn't care about none of that stuff. Oh,
Okay.
this high value, this and that. It was very simple. Like, oh, you cool, I like you, you do this, do that, we compatible, we click. So I would say for the woman, please talk to the man himself in person and stop going on YouTube and the internet seeking for advice where they
Ooh.
leading y'all down a whole different path. Because I think it's kind of breaking black men and women apart more than bringing us together.
Get to know the man in front of you.
That's it.
Not somebody else's. Okay. Okay. I like that. I hope you guys were able to. Well, my desire is that you guys definitely took that in and understood what our co-host was saying today. We appreciate y'all for laughing with us, but if you are a Flourish Girl Flourish listener, you know it is time for our almond milk and agave moment. This is where we just top everything off. I have a quote for you guys that I did find. I actually have two. And this is dedicated to your goals. Just in case no one told you today, you're doing great. I believe in you. You got this, and you are enough. Black men, you are enough. Okay. Next, we fall, we break, we fail. But then we rise, we heal, we overcome. How y'all like that? Y'all like that?
I
Y'all
like that.
like
I like that. I like that.
You got
That's
some
that?
bars, man. You got some
that's
bars.
funky. That's funky. That's funky. That's funky.
Little bit bars. Okay, well, again, Jay Rich, I know you're on Instagram. Christopher, are you on Instagram?
I'm all right.
Okay, well, Jay Rich, where can the people find you if they are looking for Jay Rich? Where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at rich_life. That's with a Y, LYFE_Zamar, ZAMARA. Know that.
You know what?
I had to throw that in there.
And Christopher, where can they find you?
They can find me on this show Sunday night at 8 p.m.
You
live in the.
listen, y'all gotta come back. Definitely, please come back. That would be great to have y'all back again for another segment. But I definitely appreciate you guys for coming again. We appreciate you guys. You guys are our brothers, but again, you are our black men. We
Yes,
love y'all. We cherish y'all just as much as y'all need to cherish us too.
right. That's
But
right.
we appreciate y'all. And if no one has told y'all that, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We need y'all more than y'all think. And we're happy to have y'all. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Flourish Girl Flourish, the podcast. You can catch this show on ZMR Radio Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Know that. I got to take that from y'all. Sorry, I had to say that. Know that.
Know
Okay. Know that.
Kodak.
Wow. Well, thank you guys so much for
All right.
tuning in. It has been an amazing show. Until next time.
Next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
I do for the sacrifice. He didn't think twice when you laid it all down for me. So many nights, can't count all the tears that I've cried. I had to be in control of everything. Yeah, I'm ready to do things your way. Yeah, I need you each and every day. Yeah, I'm chasing after you. When things got tough, you helped me through. No better way to say I do. You're only with me when I'm with you. Yeah, I'm chasing after you. No other choice, I'd rather choose you. No better way to say I do. You're only with me when I'm with you. Signed, sealed, and delivered, I'm yours. Yours, yeah, I'm yours, yeah. Signed, sealed, and delivered. You're the epitome of what true harbor means and brings to me. Oh, please see how much you mean to me. I still look to be with you eternally. I don't care what they say, I'll be a fool for you now. I know, yeah. Fell once, fell twice, keep my feet, let the record show. You're a part of me. You're the air that I breathe, and I never wanna be without you. But you're enough. I'm chasing after you. When things got tough, you helped me through. No better way to say I do. You're only with me when I'm with you. Yeah, I'm chasing after you. No other choice, I'd rather choose you. No better way to say I do. You're only with me when I'm with you. Signed, sealed, and delivered, I'm yours. Yours, yeah, I'm yours, yeah. Signed, sealed, and delivered. I don't care, be a fool for you, yeah. I don't care, be a fool for you. I don't care, be a fool for you, yeah. I don't care, be a fool for you. I don't care, be a fool for you, yeah. I don't care, be a fool for you. I don't care, be a fool for you, yeah. I don't care, be a fool for you.
You're listening to the best radio station on the planet.
ZMR Radio.
The #1 internet radio station.
I'm at work right now and I'm listening to it.
#1.
I wake up with you guys, I spend my day with you guys, and I go to bed with you guys. You guys are the best.
The #1 internet radio station.
ZMR Radio.